How to entertain yourself. Hello, hello. It's story time. Kick back, shut your take your hands away from the keyboard. Give yourself a moment to just be. It's story time. It's the afternoon here in America. Buenas tardes, buenas noches, wherever you be. Hello, hello, hello. It's story time. I'm going to read from Creating After Abuse. And today, just kind of waiting to see people coming on so I can say hello. Today is chapter 12, Living Radically Alive. I am not a victim nor a survivor, and truly not even a thriver. Now, you're going to hear my little puppers bark because she hears everybody that she wants to play with outside, and she's stuck in here with me. So, 1 second. I'm back. Okay, living radically alive. I'm not a victim nor a survivor, and truly not even a thriver. I choose to live radically and orgasmically alive with an aggressive presence known within and from me. I am the catalyst generating and creating my reality from what is nurturing and fun for me. I will never allow again anyone to choose for me again. And that is a choice in and of itself, not to join this reality's label of victim, survivor, or thriver. Hello, Mrs. Miracle. Welcome to Storytime. Hello, Solane. Soleil. Soliel. Hello, Connie. Hello, Rob. Hello, Loredana. Ciao, Bella. Talking about radical aliveness. So, where the term radical aliveness came from is really, I was writing my dissertation many years ago now, and there was something that was talked about, and I was doing research on about radical presence and how to be more present, more awake, aware, choosing actively in life. And for so many decades, based on my own history, based on some compulsions and addictions that I had, based on some traumas that were very prevalent in my younger years, I developed, I would say, the opposite of radical aliveness, probably more of like a radical deadness. And I did not exist. Even though I was in a body, I was walking around, I was going to school or doing whatever I was supposed to do. But there was nothing inside of me. Hello, Ebru. There was nothing inside of me that was choosing my life for me. I was really good at doing what I had to, schooling, education, working, you know, relatively eating well, moving my body, just things, but I wasn't happy. I was really dead inside in a lot of ways. And so when I started writing my dissertation, which is something that basically it's just something that a research project that you're into and that you have some desire to, you know, spend years creating to get the big old end story of the DR behind your name or in front of your name, whatever the case may be. But it wasn't just about that. There was something that I was searching for in my dissertation. One of those things, many of those things, have informed my work, my books, the business that I run now, the trainings that I facilitate, the classes that I put my energy into. And it all came, one of these things was radical aliveness. And it came from radical presence. And I really wanted to be radically present. And I wanted to be radically alive. And hello, Ciencia. Um, and I did not want my past, to dictate my present and future. And it had owned me. You're going to see some writing behind me because I just finished a call in one of my cage talks, which was, ironically enough, talking about addictions and compulsions. Uzma Elegiando, Priscilla, hello, hello, welcome. Talking about living radically alive and where it came from. And I just knew that the deadness that I was living at the time was not what I was destined to be and what my life was destined to be. And so I had embarked on so many trainings, so much reading, so much schooling, education, all these different things to find out and how literally I wasn't taught to live radically and orgasmically alive. I threw the orgasmic in there because I didn't even know what it was like to enjoy a strawberry or enjoy, walking in the woods, enjoy the sun. I could do a whole lot, but being was not my skill set at the time. And when you have a history of violence and trauma and very early on for decades and decades and decades, it's very common to always, in a certain way, live in your body in that hypervigilant state. And I had to unlearn all of that. And radically alive was what I was striving toward and what I'm living in now. That's why the first book I wrote was Radically Alive Beyond Abuse. The next one was Lies of Money. This one is Creating After Abuse. The one after that is The Body of Change. And the one after that is Doing What Works. And I have all these in process right now. And they're all stages of my own development and information putting out in the world about living radically alive. Because I know it's possible. Do you know it's possible no matter what you are suffering through, dealing with, the tragedies, the traumas, the depressions, the anxieties? I always knew, even if some days it was only 1 degree, and some days it was like 50 degrees, or 50%. Maybe it was just 1%. And now it's fairly often, if we're doing on a scale of 100 or 1,000, it's pretty high up there every day. But there were times when it wasn't, and a lot more time than I know a lot more time than I ever really want to devote to ever again. Hello, son, Suzia Raratim. I love it. Thank you for letting me practice my intonations and enunciations. In a very real sense, up until now, you may have been living in a state of deadness as a result of the abuse. And abuse doesn't have to be many different times: sexual, physical, emotional, financial, spiritual, psychological, bullying, gaslighting. Now, though, it's time to shift into something entirely different: living radically alive. And with the ideas presented here, it's a real possibility. Truthfully, living radically alive for me is literally doing what brings my heart joy, what makes me sing, what makes my heart sing and dance, what thrills me to create in the world, and doing it just because I desire to, and not because I have to. That doesn't mean there aren't things in my life that I have to do, but the haves tos are basically because I chose. But my life wasn't always like that. It was usually the opposite. I was owned by everything and never chose fully from the space that I'm talking to you about today. Hello, Clea Sum. Again, I apologize and Fabi Martinez, if I say any of your names wrong or read them wrong, I apologize, but I'm having fun here. So, Gabriela, hola, hermosa Gabriela. Okay. Living a radically alive life doesn't mean you won't have anger, sadness, or any other feelings we experience with abuse. It means you'll feel comfortable expressing the emotions you do have. You'll have access to greater expression of all parts of you. I found that having access to what I was actually feeling accessed me to myself, so that I could choose better and in a more generative and constructive way versus a reactive way, which created more conflicts when I reacted. I chose living radically alive is a response. It's living in the pause and paying attention to the energy and then acting on the energy that works for you. Might not be the right thing. It might not look like the right thing. It may be completely opposite of what anybody would call right, but it has heart and meaning to you, so you do it. Hi, Christine. Hi, Janelle. Hello, Seema. Hello, Nustret Morena. Imagine having all of your vitality that is locked. For those of you that are just joining, it's story time. Tuesdays and Thursdays. Tuesdays and Thursdays. Tuesdays and Thursdays. Martes y viernes, right? Imagine having all of your vitality that is locked up in unexpressed rage and sadness. I didn't have to imagine that. I was that. All the magic that is shut down by shame. Been there. All the wisdom of your body that gets killed off by fear. Oh, hello, disease. Hello, 80 extra pounds on me at one point. Imagine all of that energy that you put behind weight, that you put behind debt, that you put behind not succeeding in your business or not going for that training or not choosing that possibility. Imagine all that energy getting freed up just by simply acknowledging the space of you, simply acknowledging that you do exist instead of not exist, simply acknowledging that you can choose to be all of you. Hello, Noah. Hello, Baby Skaju. I love that. Baby Skaju. Yeah. Hola. Boa tarde from Brazil. Marcia. Marcia. Imagine having all of that available to you. Living radically alive, you no longer need to try to control your world to feel safe. You actually know that you might feel unsafe because of something, and the power that you have to change that is by choosing something that works for you. That is living radically alive. The 4 C's of radical aliveness: choosing, committing, collaborating, creating. Choose, commit, collaborate, create. You can do a little dance. I'm going to choose now. I'm going to commit to that man. I'm going to do it. That's the action. Choosing is a choice, which is also an action. But it's like when you choose, a lot of people think that the universe is just going to drop it on top of you. Well, sometimes it does. And sometimes you have to have the pragmatic actions to do something to get to work on what you're choosing also. But choosing puts that in motion. And then when you put it in motion and follow it with action, the universe collaborates to conspire to bless you on whatever it is your target is. And that is what creation is: creating. Creating 4 C's of radical aliveness. So the first question is, are you willing to be you? Now, take a moment. We're all going to say, yes, of course I'm willing to be me. Of course, of course, of course. Well, yeah, that's good. That's a good place to start. And that's a good space to start. Absolutely. But like every moment of every day, that is really the question. And that is living radically alive. Gives you something to aspire to because you could do it every single day. Some days are going to be better than others. Some days are going to be more than others. But there's no right or wrong. There's no scale. It's just how you feel, how you look, how you be, how joyful you are, how much gratitude you live in, how much more nurturing and kindness you're being. That's when you know you're living radically alive. The generosity of spirit that befalls you, becomes you, the gift of the world to the world that you are, that's all radical aliveness. And sometimes, you know, there are days like I just started texting a friend of mine. We moved out of the area. I used to see her all the time at the gym. And I was like, would you be my gratitude buddy? And she, of course, said yes. Not of course, but I kind of knew she would. And so every day, we don't talk at all, literally have a conversation. We just text each other our gratitudes. And we do a, like emoji, a heart emoji. And in that texting of gratitude, it changes my physiological focus of, so maybe if I was, oh, what am I going to do about that, asking some questions, and then I would like, oh, I gotta do my gratitude with Erica, and it would change that, so that problem I was just about to lock into, nope, becomes a possibility because I'm focused on gratitude. There is no problem. It's that instantaneous moment of choosing that, committing to it by the action, allowing the universe to gift that to me in the moment. This just happened this morning, in the moment, and I smiled during, because I was exercising this morning, and my body was like, "Oh my God!" Working with my body artist as I always do, and my body was just like, "You're moving and everything, and I'm going to let you do that, but I don't really want to move so much." However, so you just deal with it. I just dealt with it on those days. On those days when my body doesn't want to move, I do a little gentler movements. But I still do the exercise. I don't stop it unless my body says stop. And just when I needed to lift, my friend texted me her gratitude, and I saw it come up on the phone, and I was like, yeah. And I didn't even think twice. Didn't feel anything about the movements in my body. It was the lubrication that my joints needed. Gratitude. Hello, everybody else that's joining. So happy to have you here. Story time Thursday, Tuesdays and Thursdays, creating after abuse. Are you willing to be you? Here's a quote here. Know thyself. Being you means knowing the truth about you beyond your roles, obligations, gender, education, licenses, certifications, job, or who you are in your relationships. It means choosing to be, do, have, generate, and create everything outside of what anybody else has taught you or defined for you. This deep knowing of yourself, your true self, will release you from the deadness of the abuse, awaken you to the pleasurable sensations of living in your body, and aid you in communicating with your body to access its inherent wisdom. Are you ready to receive the gifts the universe has for you and choose the pleasure and possibilities of your life again? This is why I devoted, at least partially, a lot of my business toward creating after abuse, moving beyond abuse. The ROAR technique is specifically designed for any type of abuse, limitation, constriction that you have been a part of, suffered from, still suffering from tragedy and trauma, to identify these unconscious beliefs that keep you in a cage of abuse, which is what is behind me, because I just did a cage talk on addiction and compulsions. And then moved right into reading about living radically alive, which is why we free ourselves. If there was a why, besides just choosing to, where we free ourselves from the invisible cage of abuse is so that we can live free and live radically alive and receive the gifts the universe have for us, join and collaborate with the universe, and choose the pleasure and possibilities. The hardest thing for me, believe it or not, is after I got rid of what I called problems, which are all the things that I created as problems, and my solutions to dealing with things were problems. And I identified the unconscious beliefs leading to those problems that I thought were solutions erroneously. It freed me to live radically alive. And then I started literally choosing every single moment of every single day only what brought me joy, only what brought me kindness, only having things in my inner circle and outer world and what I'm involved in to be from that spirit and energy of radical aliveness. I know what it takes to go from underneath and within the abuse and living that and wanting to, and basically living dead, but pretending you're alive, and what it actually feels like to inhabit your body, my body, inhabit my life and the life, the greater life, the earth, the world, the universe, and use all of that to my advantage just simply by being. No more non existing, no more hiding, no more letting your past define your present or your future. Choosing radical presence, radical aliveness, and the orgasmic, energetic source that is inherent in each of our molecules, in each of our being. That is what we're doing here. And that actually is creating after abuse. All right, my friends, enough of story time for now. Hello, Dengue. Hello, Manuba. I apologize if I said any of your names wrong. I'm glad that you all are here. Thank you for spending this time with me. And stay strong, even though the world is a little bit wacky right now. A little, she says. A megaton, right? I know. You got this. You're stronger than you know. And just for kicks, if no one's told you that they love you today, I do. Be strong. I'll see you again for story time at another time next week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And if you like what you're hearing here, get notified. Like it, get notified that I'm going live. There's other lives that I'm doing Monday, Wednesdays, Fridays about certain topics and things. If you have a topic you want to hear about, email customer care at drlisacooney.com and we'll fit it into our schedule. Bye for now. Have a good day. Go be great.